Well, more layoffs coming to General Motors, the automaker announcing that the cuts will be coming early next year and impact around 1,300 workers in total in the state of Michigan. This coming just one day after the company cut 24% of its cruise division. Now, these layoffs that are being announced today, not necessarily a huge surprise. It's also important to point out that this also follows just about a month after the company reached that massive deal with the UAW. But when it comes to these two plans, Brad, and the employees that are going to be affected. The one plant, the Lake Orion plant, manufactures the Chevy Bolt, which is going to stop production here by the end of the year. That plant is going to be idle as they look ahead to try to transition it to prepare it for producing electric pickup trucks here in the future. So a number of these workers, unfortunately, being laid off as a result of that.
Yeah, one of the huge things that we were tracking, especially coming off of the negotiations with the UAW, was how the automakers would look across the total headcount that they had at many of these factories and try to understand, okay, for a lot of the initiatives that we've set forth, whether that be in autonomous driving, of course, a far off goal that many of the automakers have discussed, and some of them rolled out in some facet or another, whether that be electric vehicles, where they've set multi-year targets and unfortunately been met with a market demand profile that's been vastly different, perhaps early innings, than what they anticipated, and needing to make sure that they're securing margins for right now. For the amount of headcount that they had, it was likely that they were going to go into the negotiation tables, say, okay, we're comfortable ultimately once they netted out a deal with a set target, and we saw what the numbers were once the UAW finally got deals with GM, with Stellantis, with Ford as well. And you just had this sense that they were going to look across each of these plants and figure out, okay, well, where do we need to start rolling back the headcount in order to actually deliver upon much of the financial targets that we've just signed off on and ratified with the existing and remaining members now at this point, too.
Yeah, and that coupled with the fact that demand for EVs isn't necessarily where they were hoping it would be at this point. It's caused GM, it's called Ford, it's caused a number of these automakers to scale back their EV plans, at least for now. And of course, that affects the workers that they had planned to work on those production lines.